management people, our local emergency management people. So that partnership has paid big dividends. And today, the Sourtown Mountain Fire is it's 100% contained, but we don't call it done, did, and over with until we're sure that it can't rekindle. With the amount of leaves that are falling at this time of year, it takes close surveillance to make sure we don't get a rekindle. And with the Pilot Mountain Fire, it's about 80% contained. It's actually probably closer to 100% contained, but the definitions of contained and what's manageable are different. So we're calling it about 80% contained. But all of this underscores the need for people to adhere to the statewide fire ban that we put in effect on Monday. These fires are not only expensive to fight, they also are very dangerous to the personnel that are fighting the fires, especially when you're in rough terrain like we are here in the foothills. So I ask everyone in North Carolina to make sure not to burn, to adhere to the fire ban. There are so many bad things that happen when these fires get out, and when we're dry like this, especially in the fall of the year, it only takes one spark or one misstep, and then we have wildfires. We've got wildfires all over North Carolina, basically, and that's the reason for the statewide ban. We would love to see a good soaking rain to put all of this to rest, but from what I've seen from the Weather Service, that probably will not happen until midweek next week, if it happens. So everybody's got to be very careful. If you do see signs of fire or smoke, please notify your local fire departments or the Forest Service so that we can get on these fires quickly before they spread to 1,000 acres like the one that we've been fighting here at Pilot Mountain. So I thank all of our partners that have worked together to put these fires to bed. But especially, I want to thank my employees of the North Carolina Forest Service that have worked so hard to put these fires out. Every time we have incidents like this, it brings back memories of 2016 when it looked like all of the mountains of North Carolina were on fire, and we had personnel from 30-some states in here, other states, helping us fight those fires. So please be careful, don't burn, and report any suspicious smoke or fires to local fire officials or to the North Carolina Forest Service. I'd be glad to answer any questions.
In the briefing you just had, what was the biggest surprise? What caught you off guard?
Well, I think the surprise is that the partners have done as well as they have in containment, given the terrain, and they were explaining to me why the lines are where they are. There's got to be a high probability of success when you put lines in to contain a forest fire, and trying to contain what was originally smaller fires in rough terrain just was not going to happen. So we had to go out to contain the fire at the 1,050 acres that it is now to have a high success of probability, while at the same time protecting infrastructure that was within that perimeter.
How did it spread so quickly on Monday? Y'all were breaking down, the acreage as far as it spreading, and I remember him saying something about how on Monday, I guess it split when it got to a certain point.
The map to the right is actually the different days of spread of the fire, and with a fire like the one at Pilot Mountain, it actually went both ways around it. And then sooner or later, it went to the top, and then, of course, with the containment lines like they are, it all comes together. But hopefully that the fires have not been hot enough to do a lot of damage. But we do know there are snags still across some of the trails in the park, and the Park Service will be working to get these snags out, but not all of the trails are going to be completely clear once this fire is out. So the public that visits the parks needs to be very vigilant as to these snags and be very careful.
Is there a timeline for when you see it reopening?
I think that would be better for the Park Service. I see my folks shaking their head. We don't know, but we're very hopeful that by the weekend, everything will be 100% contained. That does not mean that the fires will be absolutely out. It will take continued surveillance to make sure that they are out, but a soaking rain is the best solution to a wildfire.
What will need to happen next to get those trails ready to go and make sure that visitors to the park know where to go, where to not go, etc.?
You know, the State Park Service manages the park, so they would be better to answer that question. Our job with the Forest Service is to contain the fire, make sure the fire is out, but then the State Park Service will be the one that determines what trails are safe and when they're going to be safe for the public to use. Would a representative from the Park Service like to come up and address that question? Please.
Hey y'all, I'm Kristen Woodruff. I'm the North District Superintendent with North Carolina State Parks. So for right now, the main focus is to get through this actual fire, right? To get everything settled up here as best we can, working cooperatively, with Forest Service. And then from then, we are gonna have to come in and assess. There are a lot of snags that's already been mentioned, so that's going to take some time to do that. We've got to get personnel. A lot of our resources are deployed to fires right now, so that does take time. So we're just going to ask the public to be patient while we get through that process, and then we can update them as soon as possible on when that'll be, that they're actually able to come in. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. I do want to thank the public for the hospitality that they have shown the Forest Service and all the partners during this incident. One of the things that I remember from the 2016 fires was the firefighters from other states talking about how warm and hospitable the people of North Carolina were when they were here helping us out. But we would ask that any further donations be monetary donations that go to local fire departments and emergency rescue people. But we certainly do appreciate that hospitality, and my Forest Service folks have mentioned how good the people up here have been and helping them out, and so we really do appreciate that. Any further questions? Well, once again, thank you so much for being here. Did you do your job today? Sharon, did you do your job today?